to me that the NATO left, they find ways not to support RFK. Because if you're a person who's a leftist and you're saying, I'm going to support a Democratic person in the primary, the best choice is RFK. That's the best choice.
How exciting if there was an elected Democrat saying the things that RFK Jr. was saying. Like,
Right.
wouldn't that be amazing? And then reporters would have to repeat it back to other politicians and say, hey, did you hear what this person said? And what do you say about that? And then people would be talking about it instead of now they're trying to pretend he doesn't exist and everything he says is crazy. And I've heard people say, like, I think Crystal Ball, I think might have said that it was a red line for her that if about his stance on vaccines. And I was like, I that's a funny thing. Like, hey, if you get vaccines right, I'm not going to vote for you. That's a weird thing to say.
That's a weird line. That's what I commented on as well. Like, I don't understand why someone's opinion on health policy is a red line, but someone voting to fund Nazis in Ukraine is not. Like, I don't understand the double standards that they have. And this is the same thing I hear all the time where Jimmy Dore is canceled because it is. RBN's canceled every single day for X reason, but Bernie Sanders going for war, not cancelable. I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't understand your morality.
Bernie Sanders voting for the largest upward transfer of wealth in human history and getting fucking crumbs for it, as AOC said. That's not cancelable. Then
he just made a mistake. That's an oops, Jimmy.
That's an oops.
Oops, accidentally funded war.
Yeah, they're all fucking war pigs, and that's fine. Like, that's supposed to be the red line for being a lefty, is you're not supposed to be able to support empire and imperialism and the murdering of other brown people and whoever for economic gain from the military industrial complex in Wall Street. That's supposed to be a dividing line, but the Democratic Party is in bed with Wall Street and all those people. They all serve them. You know, Bill Clinton and Al Gore started that thing called the Democratic Leadership Council. Do you know who was on the board of directors of the Democratic Leadership Council? Koch brothers people were on that board, and they funded it. And so that was the whole, and that's why they deregulated Wall Street. They were just about to kill Social Security. They were just about to privatize it. Bill Clinton had a secret deal to privatize Social Security, and what stopped it was the Monica Lewinsky scandal. That stopped everything. So it was Monica Lewinsky's blowjob is what saved Medicare for all, and that's. I mean, I saved Social Security, and that's according to Thomas Frank, right? And so, it's been over for a long time, which is why Ralph Nader ran in the first place, and why he was filling stadiums just like Bernie Sanders was. And they had to do every dirty trick in the world to keep him off the ballot because people were hungry for a third party then. They're hungry for a third party all the time, but people always try to make it look like you're crazy. It's my favorite thing is that they say I'd like to vote for a third party, but they don't have a chance, which is like the same thing as saying, yeah, I'll vote for a third party after everybody else is already voting for a third party. It's like, well, how do you get that going? You have to start somewhere. You have to be that person. Right. And so it's like, I'll vote for a third party, but not until everybody is. Like, well, that doesn't.
Not until everyone is. And you want to know what you. Oh, sorry, Jimmy.
No, and it's just because of Bernie Sanders completely folded his whole thing. He started to slander peace activists, saying who's paying you when he's actually paying them. He's giving a $100 billion gift to the military-industrial complex with no oversight and no complaining from him. He's not out there complaining. He doesn't give a shit. And he didn't give a shit about the lockdowns. He didn't give a shit about mandates. All he does is pretend to care about those vaccines, that maybe they're making too much money off it. And he gets to, oh, by the way, he just said he voted against the budget deal. And he says, in good conscience, I couldn't. No, you couldn't. Conscience. You did that because whoever actually runs things for the Democratic Party, those handful of billionaires, donors, they said, hey, Bernie, we got enough votes to pass this. You go pretend that you're actually a progressive. So you keep funneling that fucking progressive energy back into this establishment party. And that's exactly what that is. It's a psyop. It's bullshit. He's grandstanding like he did when he said when he got unemployment benefits put into the CARES Act. He didn't. That was a fucking lie. And every other goddamn YouTuber repeated that lie for Bernie Sanders. He actually lied because he knew what he did. And so he's lying now. So he's voting against this budget deal because he's allowed to vote against this budget deal.
Exactly.
He voted for the CARES Act because he wasn't allowed to vote against it. He voted for the Ukraine $100 billion to Nazis in Ukraine for a proxy war against Russia that was provoked by NATO for the last fucking 12 years. He wasn't allowed to vote. So that's who Bernie Sanders is. And he hasn't pulled Joe Biden to the left on fucking anything, including committing fascism by crushing a railroad union strike, which sets the tone for labor in the entire country. And Bernie Sanders supported that shit. So that guy is a weasel, and he doesn't have the courage of a fucking YouTuber. He certainly doesn't have the balls to talk to one who's going to be critical of him. And that guy. So people before me has made this point that it's worse having people like Bernie Sanders and AOC inside the Democratic Party elected, because it gives the false hope to people that there's someone inside government fighting for you when there fucking isn't. That's exactly controlled opposition. It's clear to goddamn see. As soon as the Democrats lost control of the House, they try to introduce their Medicare for All bill. Those motherfuckers, they're pissing right in fucking faces, and they take it. The Young Turks take it. MSNBC contract people take it. They all fucking just take it. Is that? And of course, Breaking Points takes it. They love that shit.